Hello, my friends. Jacob's here one more time. I'm glad that all of you hit that play button and that you're going to spend a little time with me, and we're going to learn to have some superpowers today. We're going to learn how to not be influenced by the overlords, that is the algorithm that forces things down our throat that we must believe, and then, go on to parrot and then share and then tell other people to believe and then parrot and share. And next thing you know, we got a chain of just a bunch of zombies walking around in fear for their life all the time. Well, that's no way to live, right? That's about as bad as bringing your child to see the President of the United States and then him coming on over and saying, "Hey, I want to whisper your little girl a little secret." And then, of course, the mic picks you up sniffing.
Don't tell Mommy what I told you. Got it?
That's our president right there. Yeah, the irony there? Willing Witness shared that. I thought that was just so funny. I don't even know. Maybe it's a deep fake. Who knows? I just think that, this is a lesson for us. People say that this guy likes to, smell children. Is he doing it on purpose? Is he doing it on purpose just to or did we create it? Did we somehow manifest that? Like we said, this guy loves smelling kids, and next thing you know, he's actually smelling kids. Strange. Stranger still is the principle of reaping what you sow. This is a key that God gave to Christ, that Christ then shared with the world. Jesus said, "This is a key to the kingdom I'm going to give to you. Whatever is bound in heaven is bound in earth. Whatever is loosed in heaven is loosed in earth." It's in the scriptures. Jesus said, "This is a power I give you. Whatever you think is going to become. Whatever you say is going to become." There's a law. So the question becomes, is it as this dude over here on Twitter, I think his name is Tyler, shared, is it manifestation or is it prognostication? Is it speculation like I do on the channel, or is it together, collectively, people have faith, a certain thing's going to go a certain way, and then a certain thing happens. Like what I shared on Twitter. My first real viral tweet, which is crazy. Hey, if you're not following me on Twitter, you should. It's Jacob Israel 71 over there at the old X app. That's the new thing, right? The X app, the X that's in everything. Man. But I shared this tweet, and you heard about the double decker crash, right? It's funny, I'm saying double decker because when I was young, I was about 15 years old until I was probably about 18, because I worked like full time as a young guy going to high school and then putting myself in college and paying for that. And I worked at this place called Double Decker Deli, which it was like the best deli ever. And I worked there, and to this day I make the best egg sandwich. The best, literal best egg sandwich you can ask anybody in the house. I'm a pretty good cook. Jacob likes to cook. I make a mean stew too. But there's this double-decker bus crash, right? And it was funny because as I heard about this, and I'm looking about this and how sad it is, how many people actually got hurt. There was a lot that was strange about this, especially the fact that one of the buses involved in the background had One World Observatory, about the One World Tower, about the One World Government. I couldn't help but think that a couple of days earlier, that Twitter account, Wall Street Silver, it's Elon often interacts with this. He has like millions of subscribers, whatever. He tweeted out this video right here. This video that you see, a double-decker bus. A test crash going at like 25, going at like 45 or whatever, like 75, like a 95, 100, 100. And then you just see the double-decker bus crashing again and again and again and again. So when I heard about this double-decker bus crash, because on the show I say you got to be careful, right? We have the power of life and death is in our tongue. What we speak, if you collectively agreed with me and started to speak life in the world, we would see the world change. Could you imagine if more people would come together and actually see things the way they're meant to be seen? So I put out this tweet, and it goes like viral. So probably like 175,000 views right now. I said, 2 days ago, the Twitter algorithm forced a double-decker bus crash down our throats. Tens of millions of people imagined a double-decker bus crashing. And then like a day and a half later, it happens. What are the odds of that? Well, I'll tell you, it's strange because, on this show here, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Jacob Israel. If you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate it if you subscribe. I'd like you to stick around, watch more of the shows that I've done over the years. It'll encourage you, I promise. It is free. But subscriptions are a big deal here, and hitting that like button is a big deal here. And commenting and sharing, even bigger deal. We do this together. We're a team, right? We got to work together. So I appreciate you if you're new and you're checking me out. If you like what you see, subscribe. Hit it. Tell your friends. But on the channel, I often will say things, I'll see things, and then, it'll happen. One of the weird things that I talked about recently is, of course, Grimace. This is the show where it seems like if you don't know what I do here and you don't stick around to find out that there's a deeper spiritual meaning, that you probably think I'm a little goofy, like the guy at the gym that came up to me. So, yeah, I saw your video, yeah, something about Grimace. I didn't bother, it's just a little too silly for me. And I'm going, it's a little too silly for you. Yeah, how about those videos where people are going around and pretending, that Grimace challenge, where they're pretending that they drink this shake and boom, right? If you haven't seen my shows on the Grimace, because his birthday, it's like actually a thing. There's more to this story. It's a symbol of something that's coming, and it's like a judgment of sorts. So much so that, who's called Grimace? Thanos. Yeah, isn't that funny? Because Grimace all of a sudden started appearing everywhere, right? I said it appeared on Hulu after I talked about it, and I said, it freaked me out. And then other people were like, Grimace is over here, Grimace is over there. There's this Grimace, there's that Grimace. Grimace is everywhere. I'm going through, right? Dan, we're doing the old summer cleaning when she's home, and we're going through old boxes, a box that I hadn't seen since, when I was a single dad, and I was just with Noah and Shiloh, and it was just me and them, and I had all these really cool things that I had in a box, and I guess I just never unpacked it, so I'm going through all these things, and I see these photos, and what do I see? Right on top, Grimace spooked me out. I put a little tweet, I said, Grimace has been coming after my children from day one, but I say, no, Grimace, settle down. But weird is the fact that Grimace is in this, as a mod or something in Skyrim. I tried asking Noah and Anthony about this. I said, did you know Grimace is in Skyrim? They're like, no, that's fake news. He's not, it's a mod, it's this. I don't know what any of that stuff means. I just know that Game Rant or PC Gamer or something put out an article about, of course, it's inevitable that Grimace is going to be in this game. And I'm like, because it's inevitable that Grimace is Thanos who's snapping the finger. It's about population control. That's what Thanos was all about. Balancing things, right? I'm inevitable, snapping the finger. And most of the population going bye-bye. What's weird is the fact that Grimace is attached to that. In my last couple of videos, I said it kind of seems like it has to, the Grimace shake is gonna poison you or turn you into a zombie or a demon. And probably not a great thing. And of course, Thanos was called Grimace by Star-Lord. And Endgame of all things. And aren't we kind of in a film, sort of like Endgame right now? Isn't it super exciting? Well, don't worry, because I got your back, right? We're all God's champions. Get your shirt while they last, by the way, so you can remind yourself that God doesn't choose the guy who has all the money or the girl who has all the wealth or all the strength or all the popularity or can speak right or could do this right or that right. He chooses the small, the scared. Jacob, I'm always nervous. I'm kind of like Gideon in the back, threshing wheat, trying to get people to, love more. And I'm scared and I see the armies approaching. I'm like, oh no. And God's like, hey, just grab 300 people and you're going to be fine. I need about 300 people to reach 200,000 subscribers, by the way. So tell your friends. Gideon came against the enemy with what? With faith. With faith, because he believed that God said he would reward those who diligently seek him, because God said what was going to happen if he put his trust and his faith in God, he would not fear. And we don't need to fear, especially today. So what happens? The Grimace challenge, the Grimace this, all these weird things with Grimace, right? Well, I just did a show about Barbie. Oh yeah, I don't know if you know this or you saw the show. If you didn't see the show, you should check it out. Even though I didn't make any money off of it, it wouldn't allow me because I used parts of the trailer. It's fair use, right? It is fair use, and I should be able to be compensated if their, advertisements are going to play on the video anyway, but whatever. I just felt like I needed to, I felt like the show looked better and felt better that way. And I got to tell you something, when you have one show that's like hit like that, it can be a little bit disheartening. But once again, what do? We trust in God. And then what happens that night? I have a video on Twitter go viral. Isn't that strange? No, it's not strange. It's a reminder that we need to have faith. So I do shows on Barbie, right? I talk about how Grimace led to the Grimace Challenge. Guess what now there is? There's a Barbie challenge with shakes. You got this weird now Barbie challenge where what's happening where people, they drink the Barbie shake, I guess from Cold Soul's Creamery, and next thing you know, they turn into Barbie, which is, just weird. Just weird. Just everything's gotten so weird. So I find it interesting. So interesting that I'm waiting on a little test that I put out on Twitter. A little test. We're going to see what happens. The results aren't in yet, but you'll see. If you're not following me on Twitter, you really should, because it's a lot of fun. Power of suggestion is a powerful thing. I guarantee you, right? I guarantee you that we are being inundated with thoughts that enslave us and entrap us. How many people are told they're no good and then end up becoming no good? Because that's what they believe. How many people have a problem in their life because of their formative years? These things that happen to us. Well, now you multiply that now with all of these algorithms, which are 100% manipulating us to think a certain way, to see a certain way, to look at the world a certain way. A way, by the way, that keeps you trapped, that keeps you in your box. You got to get back in your box, Barbie. Isn't that the thing? Speaking of Barbie, speaking of getting out of a box, something that's important, that treasure box that I saw the picture of Noah and Grimace and Shiloh. I also came across an old poster for a TV show that I did called Thunderbox many, many moons ago. Now, what's weird about this, I pulled out this memory and I thought, oh, that was really nice. And I was reminded of, the wonderful cast that I work with. Now, as I'm doing a little research for this show right here, and I'm looking at how AI can manipulate us and get us to think a certain way, I stumble on probably one of the biggest stories about AI going. The one about Erica Marsh. There was a Twitter account named Erica Marsh, and supposedly she was like some, big Democratic person who was into, politics, supposedly Erica Marsh. And she said this thing about affirmative action, which was just horrible. She basically said now that affirmative action is gone, no black person will ever be able to get a job. This horribly racist thing. And then when people gave her a hard time about it, she came back and tried to fix the solution by putting out more tweets. Erica Marsh, this girl right here. She always looked so familiar to me, and I didn't understand why until I look up this story. Turns out Erica Marsh doesn't exist. That story about that girl that supposedly said that terrible thing, that was artificial intelligence. That was an AI that created the account, took care of the account, posted that picture of that girl who was in Thunderbox with me. Her name's actually Kat Bayless or Catherine Bayless. Amazing actress. She was on One Tree Hill, as well as many other things. But on my show, she was the lead. She was the typical Barbie girl on the show because we had all these stereotypes. It was a comedy. And she played it brilliantly. Catherine, such a wonderful person, such a great heart. She has this great YouTube thing that she does with Southern women, and it's very funny, like things Southern women say. And so I find it weird. Here I'm doing a show about AI and how AI can manipulate us, and I find out that the AI that manipulated everybody, the picture was used, was somebody that I knew, somebody that I wrote for and produced. Small world. And it's getting more and more interesting. Now people are starting to see things, right? Well, why wouldn't they? I remember there's this term called gaslighting. I didn't know it existed until just a while ago. I thought gaslighting was a Mandela effect. Turns out it's been around for a long time. But this thing of gaslighting, if you understand the concept, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And I don't know if you know, but I come on the channel then and I try to combat it. I know it seems silly, but Jesus said, he said, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, be cast into the sea. You don't think when I come on here, I'm not exercising my faith? Yeah, I may seem goofy, I may do weird things and use a fart gun, but I'm telling you something, Jacob comes on here with faith, and I believe that we can do more. And why do we need to do more? Because we're at a point in the story where it seems like population control is a big thing. Do you remember a while ago Elon tweeted out 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven? Remember that? Everybody was freaking out about 7-Eleven. And we talked about how 7-Eleven's really 9-11 just because of the way things, September, right? October is 8, so Sept would be 7. October would be 8. So really, where are we right now? Besides all that, just a couple of days ago, we shared the anniversary of the Guidestones blowing up from last year. Yeah, and they blew up exactly at like 4:03:33, something like that, which is strange, 333. But it was like at that perfect moment. And when those Guidestones came down, I, like a lot of people, said, oh, well, maybe their mission is accomplished in their eyes. Maybe their mission is accomplished, and that's the day that we're heading into, where, you're just going to see that. Possession is a real thing. Demonic possession is a real thing. A lot of people are going to get you all spooked out and freaked out about like interdimensional beings and spooky monsters that are trying to, possess this or possess that. A lot of people think that it's like ancient artificial intelligence that's been around already, and that we're, somehow trapped in the Matrix, just like that movie. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. So when people start seeing things, I understand they may not be seeing what they think they're seeing. They may not be seeing what's really there, but they may be seeing what they think is there. Like, in other words, something influenced them or possessed them to believe that. Maybe that young man on the plane when that woman was freaking out. By the way, did you know Carrot Top was on that plane? Carrot Top was on when the lady was freaking out on the plane. She said she saw the reptilian and everything else, right? And then, of course, there was another guy, another passenger, like, backed the story up. He said, at first I thought he was joking, but then he winked at me and his eyes winked like this. And I'm just like, oh, won't be long before there's another person freaking out on a plane. And what happened? Like a day or two later, a guy starts freaking out on a plane. He's, freaking out. So what does that tell everybody? If, looking at that double-decker deli bus crash, and how many times, and all of a sudden it happens, what do you think's going to happen if people start to think that this is happening? Right now, at the same time, it's coincidental because on Disney, guess what they got going on? Secret Invasion. Marvel's Secret Invasion. Well, heck, you say, Jacob. You've been talking about the aliens invading for a long time. The aliens, which could be the AI-ians. You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows? Who's to say that artificial intelligence can't somehow hack, us and get us to see what they want us to see, hear what they want us to see, do things that we wouldn't want to do, just hijack us? We're biological computers, right? Even Marf, just on his show, was talking about China's new technology where they can, basically neuralize somebody, like make them dumb, like Men in Black. I guess China's got this new technology or something. Who's to say? Who's to say that they aren't doing that already? Who's to say that AI isn't inside? Who's to say that that's not the Antichrist that we made, right? Antichrist was made in the image of the beast. And if the scriptures say that man is the beast, and then man then creates artificial intelligence in the beast's image, who's to say that that's not the Antichrist that's sitting in the temple of God, which we're the temple of God, declaring himself to be God, making everyone worship him? The idea, that thought, the thoughts that are in our head. But what does Jesus say? He says, take every thought captive. I'm giving you the keys of the kingdom. You have power over your thoughts. We're supposed to rule and reign with Christ. What does that mean? Christ is the power and wisdom of God. If we're supposed to rule and reign the kingdom of God, and the kingdom of God is within us, we're supposed to rule what we're thinking. So when you see crazy things or when you think crazy things, you could be being influenced. So what has to happen is somebody like myself has to come over and cast that demon out. To tell you the truth. Tell you what we're really up against here. Which I'm not saying that AI is possessing us. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that they found a way to kind of maybe interface with us by, getting a lot of people to do certain things they didn't want to do. I'm not saying that at all. I know there are a lot of people that think these things. This is all science fiction. I'm a writer. So, of course, these are things that I think could be plausible, but I'm not saying that's happening because in the grand scheme of things, I know God's in control and I know that we're meant to love each other and do the right thing.
The really big thing is hacking human beings. To hack human beings, you need a lot of biological knowledge, a lot of computing power, and especially a lot of data. If you have enough data about me, and enough computing power and biological knowledge, you can hack my body, my brain, my life. You can reach a point when you know me better than I know myself. And once you reach that point, and we are very close to that point, then democracy, the free market as we have, and actually all political systems, also authoritarian regimes, we have no idea what happens once you pass that point.
And so this woman freaks out. She's going nuts, right? And what ends up happening is this guy says, "Oh, I'm the guy that she was talking to," and he's got tattoos everywhere, and he's got like Freemason this and Freemason that, and he's bragging about Freemasons, and he's saying, that Freemasons don't rule the world. They don't care about ruling the world because they rule the universe. Of course, they're like Freemason, and what are they? MAGA, witchcraft, right? And this is all about witchcraft. This is what I said about that bus crashing in. I said hashtag witchcraft. And I see these videos starting to go viral. I say hashtag witchcraft because what are they doing? They're getting everybody to start being scared and freaked out so that there's an invasion going on. Stay in your house. Then you can't trust who you're with, right? That's the next thing. You get worried about who you're with. Maybe, were you taking over? Were you taking over? This is madness, people. And this is what it seems the entertainment is calling for right now. And I say to ignore it. They don't even realize they're listening to the devil. All that stuff. The devil's a liar, as they say. And there's no truth in him, right? Liars only lie. The good news is the lie can't stand for much longer. Even though I'm telling you, the lie is being revealed in very interesting ways. I don't know if you saw the new ball, the new huge spear that's in Las Vegas that turns into all sorts of things. One of them was like a spooky reptilian eyeball thing. Very interesting, very, otherworldly. Seems almost alien, if you will. And I guess there's like a lot of shops and everything in there. But this is, so they're going to find new and clever ways to get us to, to get sucked more and more and more into the system. The system, which is actually going to become our prison. It's going to become our prison. It's limiting us. It's limiting us. Think about how many times you want to do something, you want to just write something, and then it gives you a word that's not the word that you intended, nor the word that you actually typed. And then you have to go back and it's limiting us. We need to expand this. We need to ask God for the truth no matter what the cost. We got to ask God to lead us into greener pastures. If we ask, God says he'll open the floodgates. And we have to love, and we have to live a clean, moral life. That way, we can navigate the valley of the shadow of Biden. That's what his name means, by the way. Valley of the Shadow, or Shadow Valley, from the Shadow Valley. Biden. We're biding our time. And what did I say about the Masons, right? Your Masons in the news again. I just did this show, about Samson. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. About the Masons, because Samson and Mason, same word. Interesting stuff. Because these are the last judges that rise. It's like a big movie that we're all in. But you know what's weird? Is I titled that video, Ashes, Ashes, They Will Fall Down. And you want to know what was trending just a couple of days later? Once again, is it, speculation, prognostication, or is it manifestation? Ashes. Ashes 2023 was trending. I went into my gym and I was working out, and guess what was on screen in front of me? Cricket. The Ashes tournament, which is actually, I guess, a thing. So here I say Ashes, Ashes, They Will Fall Down, and then just a couple of days later or a couple of weeks later or whenever it is, all of a sudden Ashes 2000 is trending. Ashes. Well, guess what rises from the ashes, people? We do, because God ordained it. We don't got nothing to worry about. So, I hope that this show, I hope it encouraged you a little bit. I'm going to go through here, make sure I didn't miss anything. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. There's so many. Oh, I see, I almost missed something. This is why I write some notes. I barely ever use them. I work so hard. I put everything together. I lay it out, and then I just the whole thing. I just vomit the whole show out. I'm like, all right, Lord, I blow the shofar. You want to hear me blow it on set? For some reason on here, I'm better. Oh, I never, ever get to do this right when I'm on camera. I'm telling you, I'm good at this thing. Well, what are you going to do? We do the best we can. But I do the Barbie logo, right? And I say about the 666, and I say one was inverted, one's inverted, and then what happens after my Barbie show? Threads is released. Threads. And what's it got? The exact same 2 6s and 1 inverted 6 logo. Come on! How many things do we talk about here and then it's here? God says, whatever is bound in heaven is going to be bound in earth. Whatever you believe you can't do, you can't do. Whatever is loosed in heaven is going to be loosed in earth. Whatever you believe you can do, you will do in the earth. So believe, have faith, know that God is on your side, know that you're God's champion, even though you don't feel like it. You're a mighty man of valor, a mighty woman of valor, a mighty whatever of valor. God loves you. God's got you. No one said it was going to be easy, but it sure is exciting. And of course, very entertaining. Hey, do me a favor, will you? Check out the links in the description of the video below. You can check out where all the merch is located. Check things out. If you want support, that helps me. Patreon helps me. So many more patrons. Thank you, by the way. I'm appreciating you all coming and doing this. It's next level stuff. And then, of course, the novel, which is on Amazon. And it's I really, really appreciate all the support. I believe that the book is important. I really do. So I like to sometimes just kind of I opened up this. And what do I open up to? Look at the title chapter. Huh? Everyone will know love. That wasn't done on purpose. That wasn't done on purpose. I don't think I need to read. I think that was pretty good. All right. I love each and every one of you. Please do subscribe if you haven't. Share the channel around. Hit the like, comment. Do all you got to do. Have the best day ever. Hug people that you haven't hugged today. Tell people that you love them if you haven't today. Make up with people that you're fighting with today. Even if they don't want to make up with you. Just let them know you love them. I'm telling you, it's better. It makes you feel better too. And it makes the world a better place. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
September 10th. Mars hangs closer to the Earth than it has in 6,000 years. Like the light that led men from the East to a child in a manger, it could well be a sign of good things to come. Thomas James shall be his name. The world will change because of him. In the small town of Bethel, in a time not unlike our own, a child with a great purpose is born. Years later, alienated by his peers and abused, Thomas suffers a devastating loss. When it appears he has nothing left to live for in the world, this is when his true calling begins. While trying to escape the sinister powers that be, a terrifying vision haunts him. Miraculous events seem to follow the peculiar young man as he struggles to come to terms with what he was born to do. The stage is set. The time is at hand. The truth will rise and a revolution will begin. The startling revelation of who Thomas James is, truly, will change the lives of those around him and set off a chain of events long ago foretold. There is more to this novel than one might think. Inside these pages hides a treasure just waiting to be discovered. So if you've ever wondered if there's more to life, or why it is we suffer, then this story will not only captivate you, it may just open your eyes to a truth that could set you free. Find out what is in us all that makes us heed the calling.